So
excited
I
you're
know.
here.
I'm excited for you. What?
Like, who else is here?
I'm with Shine on Hollywood.
Oh, okay.
So so tell us. No, that you look beautiful.
Excited. Thank you.
So tell us about your character. What's going on?
Oh, she's a wounded bird who's damn near lived through it all. And this season, we open on her bottom and her hanging on by her teeth to survive, like emotionally. So that's what we went through this season, and I hope she can get out of it.
Where do you draw your inspiration for that? Is that some things you've experienced yourself, or where does that come from to get that drama?
I don't feel like the bottom is ever very far, to be honest. I've experienced really hard times in my life, and so I can draw on those things. And also, I don't imagine that living in a place where everything is wonderful right now and I have a lot of blessings is going to be that way forever. So,
do you ever get involved with the writing? I think you told me at one time you like to do some writing. Do you get involved with the writing for your character?
Not for my character, no. But I did write on this show for 2 seasons. But I never would write for myself. I don't know why. I just was far more interested in doing like the jail stuff and, anybody but me. Yeah.
How are you?
Good.
So what would Katie say right now if she was here?
Oh gosh, she'd probably be like looking for the vino.
Good answer. I love that. So what's kind of the hardest storyline you've had to play on the show of Bold and Beautiful?
Ever?
Yeah.
I would say probably Katie's postpartum depression storyline. It was kind of very near and dear to my heart. I was happy that they actually told that story in a real way and in a very kind of brutally honest way. And so I was really proud of that story.
That's great. And years ago, when you were very, very, very young, because you're young, if you had to give yourself a piece of advice for yourself, what advice would that be, do you think?
I think that I would say don't be afraid to take risks. I feel like sometimes risks are forced upon us because of circumstances, but other times you should just jump in with both feet. And so I would encourage my younger self to just not be afraid to do that.
Great advice. So if Nate was here right now, what do you think he'd say?
Nate the doctor?
Yeah.
What would Nate say? Nate would say, all right, do I have my everything in the car if someone falls and needs help? And Nate would still be looking for love.
Oh, he'd be looking for love?
Maybe.
So what's the most challenging thing you've had to do as Nate for the show? The most challenging scenes?
Oh man, the words that doctors use and having to figure the definition and how to say them properly. That's probably the most challenging.
How do you go about doing that?
A lot of research. YouTube, Grey's Anatomy, any other doctor shows I can think of. Yeah.
So what's the craziest thing that's happened on set?
I don't know if it was the craziest, but when we did the Christoph tribute, the funeral, it was the most emotion I've ever felt on a set. Like, from the actors to the behind the scenes to everything. There was no acting. That emotion was raw and real. We were doing rehearsals and taping our rehearsals. It was insane.
So if you had to go way back in time to your super young self and give your present self a piece of advice, what do you think it would be?
Be patient. Be patient.
So congratulations. So tell us a little bit about the show. How does it feel to be nominated?
Nominated?
Yeah.
In multiple categories.
I know, you're like 7 or something like that?
Well, the show is in 8.
Yeah.
8.
I'm up for 3 of those 8. But who's counting? Who's counting? No, I'm very excited, and Michael is very much a part of this whole. And the writing couldn't have happened without Michael. I know that for sure. And he wrote words for me, and wrote a character for me, and everybody that we developed. And I'm honored to be acting as that actor.
What's the hardest thing you had to about playing that role?
Raising money. You know what? when Michael and I discussed creating Brian and creating this heroic journey that he's on, I wanted to play something close to myself. I haven't experienced loss in the way Michael's experienced loss, but we kind of found the way to that story. And for me, it was just to honor that type of emotional commitment to the character and the way, and going through what he's going through. I feel honored that I could be this character.
Where did this story come from? I mean, where did you draw it from?
It came from a couple of places. One was Kevin, when Kevin and I bumped into each other in New York, and he said he was thinking of creating a web series, a digital series, and so we decided to have coffee and talk. And his first idea was, I want to do a story about gay men who are our age, who are grown-ups, because as we've both talked about, like women, we disappear from the canvas after we're 35. And then I had lost my partner a few years prior to the diagnosis that we wound up writing for Brian. And
he kind of didn't.
For Jason.
He didn't lead with that. It took a couple of weeks to kind of get into.
No, we talked, and then as we were kicking things around, I said, I realized I was ready to artistically, cathartically, for myself, deal with what I had lived through. And so it's not autobiographical in any way, other than the diagnosis and the decision not to seek treatment.
How did that make you feel to do that?
It was, there are a lot of tears on the computer screen, but then watching it played, watching these guys play that stuff was cathartic. It was at times there were days that I'd have to say, you know what, I'll watch one take and then I need to leave the room.
I knew we were hitting it right out of the park when I'd see Michael leave the room.
So how do you like working on the Bay?
Oh man, it's awesome. I love it. It's a really good show. It has a lot of different cast members with different ethnicities, different problems. I love I like that it has so many different stories going on. Sometimes you have to kind of remember who they're talking about when they're saying all the names, but if you start from the beginning, from season 1, you can really just love the characters and love the relationships. So I love working on a show like that.
That's great. So good guy or bad guy? Which one do you like playing the best?
Well, I've only played the good guy so far.
Okay.
So I kind of want to try a bad guy one time. I want to play a bad guy. I want to be the bad guy one time, see what I can do with it, just stretch out my acting skills. But I've been the good guy so far. I was on a kids television show where I played a superhero, and that is good, obviously.
What an exciting thing you're doing. You're doing the story of your father's life. What is that like?
Yeah, it's actually exhilarating. It was going through it was traumatic, going through the process and all that, but I'm happy the end result. I'm excited to share my father's story and my story of how parallel our lives were and the things that we had to endure through life.
Like, can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, well, with the you're dealing with drugs. You're dealing with both of us, a family of prostitutes, bootleggers, and pimps, and all those things. And I was raised in that same realm as well. So it shows how I went through those same obstacles and things. I did the drugs like my father did, but being able to come out of it victorious and being able to share with other people maybe that they're going through, that they can see some kind of light at the end of the tunnel.
If you had to go back in time to your younger self and give yourself one piece of advice, what do you think it would be?
Oh my God! Don't believe everything you hear. Don't think everything that you hear about yourself that you have to comment on or that you have to defend yourself on. Just be yourself and live your life.
That's great. So we here at Shine On, we like to focus on charity work. Is there a charity that you would like to do a shout out to or talk about?
Yeah, I would like to for multiple sclerosis and lung cancer awareness, and also the Friend movement, which deals with anti-bullying.
Okay, I love that.
Yes.
So you're on the Bay. So tell us a little bit about your character.
I'm actually one of the producers.
Oh, you're a producer?
Yeah.
Great.
So I'm actually, they've been nominated before, but this is my first season, so it's my first nomination.
What is that like for you?
It's a little overwhelming, and when we got the call that we were nominated, I was really excited. I know it's old hat for them. I know they're excited, but for me, it's my first nomination.
That is great. What does that feel like?
It's amazing. My family's just like, you're nominated for an Emmy. Like, you are nominated for an Emmy. And I'm really excited about all the cast that got nominated. So it was a really cool experience, especially for somebody who is grown up with daytime and really got to work with some really fabulous people.
So you grew up with daytime, so you watched it all your whole life?
I watched it when it was inappropriate to watch it. Seriously.
So what's the hardest thing about producing, do you think?
I think because what people don't understand about producing, you're in charge of everything and making sure all the parts go together, and it's really about being able to deal with things on the fly, and that's something that I'm pretty good at, so I think that makes me a great producer, and being a psychiatrist for the actors.
That's great. So what is like one of the hardest things you've had to deal with on set, and how did you deal with it, and how did you kind of approach it?
You know, we were all over LA. We filmed all of our stuff's on location. So it really is about each location has its own challenges. So it's really like getting there, making sure everybody's okay, making sure the crew's okay, making sure cast is there, and just working with everybody as a team. And I think when you go, like we were on the beach, we've been on the beach, and that's always hard because you always have to, there's permits and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, it's like something different every day. When people ask me that question, it's always something different. So
hi, congratulations, Conversations in LA. So tell us a little bit about that.
Conversations in LA is a one-shot series that I created, wrote, directed. I'm up for the nominations this year, my second as a writer and my first as a director. It's a love story. It's one shot, which means every episode is 30 minutes, continuous camera movement, no cuts. I'm here with my co-star Gustavo Velasquez and Terra, who's in season 3. You know, I'm sure they can tell you the challenges of what it's like to do a one-shot.
What was the most difficult part of doing that?
The amount of rehearsals. I mean, you want to be as honest and truthful as possible to the writing, and we're capturing this for 30 minutes. We're taking about a month of rehearsals before it's shot, so it's the care of really understanding what's going on, the multi-layers of these characters, because once we shoot it, it's done. Like, that's a lot of work for the cinematographer, for Anne-Marie to write, to direct, and to create the whole environment. So bringing that story to life is the most challenging part.
Tell us a little bit about your character.
Well, my character is very different than me. I'm actually very girly. My character is a butch rapper, and it was interesting. It was very fun to get into someone just totally flop side of what I am, and to get into this one-shot series.
How did you do that? Did you hang out with?
Well, I did. I actually watched my husband. I watch him often anyway because he lives in my house. But I had to kind of channel people that I knew in high school and people I knew from college, which is easy. You know, this when you're an actor, you're always trying to mimic people. And
very beautiful. Good. How are you?
Good, thank
so,
you.
If Tamara was here right now, what would she say?
What would she say in character? She would say, "Why are all these people out here? I'm a country girl. I haven't seen all these lights, camera, and that."
Where are you from originally?
I'm from Philadelphia.
Oh, I love that.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So Tamara's a country girl.
Tamara on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A country girl. I
We're
love
from down
Philadelphia, by
south.
the way.
Yes.
So what's the hardest thing that you've had to play as far as Tamara? The hardest scene?
The hardest scene was probably just having a one-on-one real conversation with my big brother Malachi, who's played by James Bland, because I'm a big sister. I have 2 younger brothers, so I remember those conversations of, you know, heart to heart. Let's put everything out on the table. Let me help you navigate. I need you. You need me. So having those conversations with your siblings are very important. If you're lucky enough to even have a sibling.
Yeah. So you drew from your own experience for that. That's like the best.
Absolutely.
That's really great.
Absolutely.
So where do you get your motivation to stay so up and like ready for work every day?
Gotta get 8 hours. I don't get 8 hours. I try to get 8 hours, but you know, working out, getting enough sleep, and just setting my agenda the night before. So I have no excuse of, oh, I don't have anything to do today. No, I'm getting up understanding that I have things to tackle.
So if Esther was here right now, what do you think she'd say?
Esther would say, wow, I'm glad I don't have to do all the dishes for all these people. That's what she would say.
So what's the hardest thing you've had to play on the show? Wired up. Like, what's been the hardest storyline?
There's been, so many. Giving birth to Chloe in the middle of the storm, that was hard. Really the hardest was after Jeannie Cooper died and passed away in real life, and playing that storyline, with her will and all that kind of thing, and it was difficult.
Oh my God. Do any of the storylines kind of hit home sometimes, like hit you in a personal spot?
Oh yeah, of course, that one totally hit home. As I've been on the show. I just had my 37th anniversary.
Oh my God, that's great. What's your secret? How do you stay so up and motivated?
I'm so proud of our show, and I'm just honored to be part of it, and I'm thrilled that I'm there.
That's great. So what's your motto in life, do you think?
Never give up.
Never give up.
No matter what, never give up, and always work the program. Meaning, do what you do to the best you can. Like, I still go to acting class, I still go to my voice lessons, I still go to my dance lessons, I still study, and I just want to be the best I can. And you don't push for the end result, because then you just push it away. And you have to let that just come to you. You do the best you can, and that's all you can do.
So we at Shine On like to kind of focus on charitable work that actors do. Is there a charity that you support, and why?
Oh, I do tons of them. I'm celebrity spokesperson for the ALS Association, Lou Gehrig's disease. My brother-in-law had ALS, and that's how I got involved. But I've been doing that for over 10 years. I do 3 teas a year where I bring up young and the restless people to Canada. We raise a lot of money. We've been doing it for over 21 years. Vancouver for the Canucks, and their for cancer, and for March of Dimes in Toronto, and now for March of Dimes in Calgary.
Oh, that's great. Thanks so much. Can you do producers from the Bay?
Right now,
and this is
our lives is making me feel alive.
This is my first season producing. It's pretty exciting. I mean, to be standing here today it's an honor. It's exciting. The show is phenomenal. I love being a part of it. I love Gregori, the director, the cast. I mean, it's just, it's a little bit surreal, so.
And what's the hardest thing about producing the show, do you think?
Just how quickly they shoot, and how, you need to really get the energy going and get the scenes quickly. It's required for TV. You don't have the luxury of a lot of time. So, great performers and great scripts make it all happen.
Do you guys get involved with the writing at all?
We listen to the stories, but that's Gregori. That's his area.
So what's the most challenging thing that's happened on set? And how did you deal with it?
I mean, I think there's
wardrobe malfunctions. A few of those.
There's always wardrobe. I mean, I think there's the way things are handled. I mean, there's nothing too major, but every day there's sort of something that comes up. There's little hurdles here and there.
Different things, could come up. A location problem. Yeah, there's always challenges.
And so, what got you both into producing? What led you to do this?
I have known Gregori for a really long time. We worked together on some small films years ago, and I adore Gregori, and that's what brought us to this. He's creator.
But as far as producing is concerned, I think we just like bringing people's stories to life.
Yes.
People that write interesting, creative stories that maybe wouldn't have the chance somewhere else. I mean, we take a look at it all, and I think everyone deserves a chance for their story to be shared, and if it's the right story, then why not?
I'm John from Shine on Hollywood. How are you doing? Good. So tell us a little bit about the Academy and why do you think it's so important?
Well, the Academy celebrates excellence in television, and by creating that bar to reach for, I think we're making programming better. Because when you set that bar of excellence, people try to achieve that bar and they try to surpass it. And we certainly saw through the performances and the stories told this year that bar being pushed time and time again.
I love it. So what are the changes that are taking place that you think will make the show even better?
Well, I think this year you'll see a couple of great segments of the show, some unique tributes, Lifetime Achievement, Judge Judy Sunday night, Chef Jacques Pepin Friday night. In our 46-year history, we have never given a Lifetime Achievement Emmy to a chef or to someone from courtroom programming. There were no Lifetime Achievement Emmys for Julia Child or Judge Wapner or some of the people who created these great genres of daytime television, but where characters like Jacques Pepin and Judge Judy really elevated it another notch and truly earned these honors.
Well, that's something amazing to start. That is really good, starting those Lifetime Achievement Awards. So what do you think has been the most challenging part of putting the show together every year?
Well, I think one of the challenges certainly is the competition itself. You know, last year there were a couple of issues with nominations after the ceremony, and so there was a lot of focus internally on how we change our processes and make it a stronger, fairer competition for everyone, and I think we've been quite successful in doing that. As a result, this was the most competitive daytime Emmys in history. More entries than ever before from more entrants, more shows, more platforms, more networks than ever before. And so that enormous scale and growth of daytime presents a lot of challenges before we even set foot here in Pasadena. When we get on stage Friday night and Sunday night, then it's all about just doing the same thing everyone else here does, and that is try to put on a good show.
I love that. So personally, what's your most favorite thing about your job that you just love the most?
I grew up watching television. I was always a TV fan, and to be in a position where now, you know, they say it's not a job if you're getting paid to do what you love, and to get to be a TV fan for a living is pretty sweet.
So here at Shine on Hollywood, we like to kind of focus on charitable work. So is there a charity or charities that the Academy supports that you kind of want to give a shout out to?
So there's one that's actually very close to my heart, and that is the Academy's foundation that provides scholarships for high school students going to college to pursue careers in television. And this is close to my heart because 24 years ago, I was one of the first scholarship winners of the National Academy. Had a wonderful career in this industry, and now I'm back here as the CEO. And just last week, our scholarship committee met to select this year's scholarship winners.
What a great story. What a great story that is. So if Stefan was here right now, what do you think he'd say?
If he was here?
Yes.
Well, I would hope that he'd say that, son, you've done me proud. I tried to, do my best to carry on the legacy of Joe Mascola the best I could.
That's great. So what's the hardest thing about playing that character, do you think?
Staying consistent with that level of brashness and I don't want to call it evil. I don't think any of the characters are really evil, but just to keep that bravado up daily, constantly, the whole time to try and sell that guy.
Where does that come from? Did you draw some inspiration from somewhere for that?
Yeah. No, you know what it was is that
I can add this to my repertoire.
the guy is so over the top in so many ways that I just decided that not to fight against it and just allow it to come out and go and run with it. That it started to become second nature and quite easy actually, because the words were all there. I just had to play the absurdity of it.
What's the hardest scene you've had to play, and how did you go about doing that?
Yes. Well, the hardest thing to play characters like that is finding the sensibility in them, the soft side, because you can't just be all bad, because then people lose interest in you.
How exciting! The Bay's having such a terrific run.
Yes, it's been a lot of fun.
So tell us a little bit about it. How did you go about creating the show? What was the inspiration?
Well, Wendy was a big inspiration before she knew me. Before I knew her.
This.
But I was a big fan of Santa Barbara, and then I became a big fan of General Hospital during her time there, and that was kind of like the inspiration of the show when I created it. And so here we are.
That's really. So what's the hardest thing about producing the show?
The hardest thing about producing? Time. I think it's time, right? That's probably. There's never enough time or money.
Has there been a storyline that's been more difficult to produce or to shoot?
I don't think so. The characters are wonderful, and I don't think there's been a storyline that's more difficult. No. It's just time. We have so many stories we want to tell. Every character has a story.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest challenge.
And so finding that space is the biggest challenge for us.
Finding the spaces.
Because we only have 10.5-hour episodes a season, and so we have to figure out, and we have 20 series regulars and a bunch of guest stars, and so we want to make sure everyone is enjoying the process. So sometimes it can become challenging on how to fit everyone in, but and make sure that we're telling a genuine story. So.
And continuing with the ongoing stories.
Yes.
And you are again
John Scholz.
Oh yes, John. John, I see you around town, and I want to tell all your viewers that you are quite the dapper host. You're charming, and you know how to, bring out the best moments in a guest, because these things are hectic and it's a madhouse.
What? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, I've worked the biggest red carpets in the world, the Emmys, the Oscars, the Golden Globes, MTV Movie Awards. It used to be seasonal, and then now it's year-round, and it keeps getting bigger. And now with social media, you don't have to wait to see it on the main channels. It's all over the internet.
Absolutely.
And I think that's good, because it opens up opportunity for more of us to share.
Absolutely. And by the way, you're not so bad yourself, Mr. Dapperman. I love that.
I thought I would. Don't run off, David. Wait. Well, okay, David, jump in here for a second, because they were complimenting my tie, and I think my tie and his stripes do kind of make some kind of bizarre outfit.
Yeah, we're like the Smothers Brothers or something.
And I knew that. And I opened for them, and I knew Donnie and Marie when I worked on their show, Stage 6 on KTLA 5800 Sunset Boulevard. You were just.
I don't remember what I had for lunch.
No, you were a gleam in your father's eye. But I've seen you on stage with Donnie and Marie and Merrill, my buddy.
Dude, it was his birthday yesterday.
Yes, of course. I was on the. They're beautiful people, and now you're coming up in the game, and I'm so proud of you.
I stand on the shoulders of giants, dude. I swear to you, I'm honored. I'm thrilled. I can't even believe this, to be invited to host, to sing. And then on Sunday, I get to sing with Elmo and the Sesame Street crew. I mean, that's like my bucket list, man. Like all in one. I told my kids, I don't just get street cred with them. I got Sesame Street cred with my kids.
Right?
It's legit, man.
Yes, and it's this new generation of Osmonds. That's what I'm looking at, because I'm going to go see Donnie and Marie at their last show this year.
Are you there for the last show?
Not the last show. I'm going to see
the last few shows.
Yeah, I'm going 2 or 3 times before they close out.
I'm surprised you got tickets, dude.
Yes. It's sold out, but I'm honorary Osmond.
Oh, you are. Yeah, you are.
Look at me, right?
You got the teeth for it.
Totally, yeah. Jimmy's my hardest to Jimmy, okay, thinking about him.
Yes.
Sending prayers to the whole family.
He's awesome.
But really, it is. The Osmonds are a great American family. They're great American talent. And now David is co-hosting this weekend with...
What's that?
Co-hosting with.
Well, for the Friday show, they have me just hosting.
Oh, on your own?
Yeah. And I don't even have a script yet, so I don't know what's going to happen. Isn't that crazy?
You'll be fine.
But I'm going to be with Jolie Fisher doing a presentation on Sunday.
Yes.
Of course, we're singing together with Elmo and Abby and Alan from Sesame Street and the kids choir. So that's.
And it's unscripted?
I haven't received anything yet, so we'll see what happens.
Well, I'm a comic.
I know.
That's how I met your family. I used to open for the biggest stars in the world.
Well, I know dad jokes. That's about it. man. And I don't know if because I host the kids show. That's all I got, man. So let's see.
I'm going to be writing some
I'm not
stuff for
I'm
you.
not a comedian.
No, but yeah, it's okay. It doesn't. You have to do. You know, you can just be yourself, which is your charming, outgoing self.
Yeah.
And you might sing. But
Yes, sir.
I
Yes.
saw.
I know I am singing that. We're doing a Steve Allen song. This could be the start of something big. They kind of Weird Al Yankovic some of the words to make it Emmy-fied, so to speak. And it's gonna be fun, dude. They got a swinging band. It's gonna be cool.
Well, I want to say I'm not insulted that you crashed my interview.
Oh my gosh.
And the fact that we made it fun.
Well, dude,
but now I'm going to turn it over.
Maybe you and I can take over the Donnie and Marie showroom.
That's it. It's Jamie and David, or David and Jamie. I think that flows better.
Who's going to be who?
No, I'm the
David and Jamie. I'm a little rock and roll, and you're a little.
I'll be country.
You'll be country.
Sure, I'll do.
2, 3. Shine on Hollywood.
I'll miss the Hollywood.
That's okay. I got you covered.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Right here, David Osmond on Shine On Hollywood. He's our host and co-host, I think, through the weekend with Carolyn Hennessy, I want to say.
Yes,
that's what I was talking on.
On
the red carpet.
Yes. She's awesome.
She's interviewing the biggest stars, the daytime Emmy nominees. I know more about the show than he does.
Have you met my publicist right here?
A manager and agent and everything. He's worth every
choreographer.
As soon as Donnie and Marie closes, he's opening in the same showroom.
Oh, man.
And we're going to continue
You're
the
going to get
show.
me kicked out of the family.
No. I'll call Meryl and straighten it out.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Here we are at the 46th Annual Daytime Emmy Awards in Pasadena at the beautiful Castle Green.